Welcome to the caster desk. What an intro. One more round of applause for Quickshot and the teams playing on stage today, please. It is so good to have a crowd. I'm Drakos. Joining me, none other than Caedrel and Vedius for this thrilling best of 5.
And it is an absolute pleasure to have the crowd here. Now, everyone in the crowd, Drakos and I have had the wonderful pleasure of casting in front of you before, but my man Caedrel has never cast in front of a crowd. So if you could all do the pleasure of welcoming him.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What we want to feel throughout the day. We have the Battle of Kings. We have G2 versus Fnatic on our stage. We have some incredible talent in front of us. And I'm just hoping that we get the full 5 games, gentlemen.
Yeah, and we have to wait to talk smack because they still have their headsets off so they can hear us. So we'll save all of our more negative opinions. Targamas, thank you. Okay, now we can talk
Finally.
trash. Just kidding. Yeah, we're getting into this super thrilling game. Obviously, Rogue, the big boss, waiting tomorrow. But today, very big series. Last time we saw it, some close games, most certainly, but Fnatic always felt one step ahead. A lot of people hoping that that lower bracket run for G2, back-to-back 3-0s, is enough to make this the full 5.
Yeah, 6-0 in their last 2 best-of-5s, right? G2 looks unstoppable right now. So coming up against Fnatic again, I think they're going to put up a much better fight, I think.
For sure. And my eyes in particular are on that jungle matchup, Jankos versus Razork. I know that Razork was a big topic of debate, especially in their series versus Rogue. And we know that Jankos has really been on a bit of a tear recently, alongside so many of the other overperforming members that we've been seeing from G2. So this jungle matchup I'm going to be keeping my close eyes on. Will we get to see Volibear make it through the draft? Where will the Hecarim priority be? What will this engage champion be for these junglers, or will they be put on more of a carry position? Because so far from Razork, we've only really seen 3 champions from him so far in playoffs, and he looks good on Volibear, not as good on anything else. Whereas Jankos, we've seen a plethora of different options, so perhaps the experience can weigh out as an advantage in this matchup.
Yeah, and just winning is not going to be enough, because remember who you're facing down tomorrow, Malrang, who has been incredibly impactful no matter what you have given. So as a jungler, this has to be the most pressure you're feeling, because not only do you have to face down, analyze, download a single opponent like Jankos, like Razork, you then have to do it again. 24-hour turnaround time, another full 5-game series against a jungler who has not stopped in playoffs. Big pressure on both sides.
And that helps Rogue a lot, right? They will get so much information from this best-of-5. If it does go to 5 games, if they do pull out those kind of different junglers, Malrang's going to be pretty fine with that, because we see jungle bans in the 1-2. We see first pick junglers. Volibear is what I'm going to have to keep my eyes on for Razork. Hecarim, Viego, maybe for Jankos.
And the other question is the Twisted Fate priority. We saw it come out heavily for Humanoid in their series versus Rogue, but we actually haven't seen Caps play Twisted Fate once so far.
We know he plays it, though.
But we know he plays it, exactly. He's a very big proficient player of the Twisted Fate. But you've listened to us ramble long enough. As the lights continue to dim, we're getting closer and closer to draft. It's so good to hear the energy once again from the crowd. I can hear the players. You guys can all hear how loud Jankos actually is in person. This man can carry his voice across all
You can hear him before you can see him.
Yeah. There it is. Almost single-handedly brought booths to EU, that boy.
It wasn't the crowd noise, it was Jankos noise.
It was the Jankos noise. It was the real concern. You guys are really just fighting with the Jankos.
Ooh.
Okay.
No music, straight into draft.
We've done away with over-dramatic music, and we'll put our dramatic music here now instead. Instantly, Volibear going to be taken off the table. One of the highest impact junglers so far in playoffs. Zeri going to follow.
Yeah, and speaking of Jankos, Volibear ban targeted at him. We expected that to be targeted at Razork because we saw him have so much success in these kind of early game junglers, but there's another jungle ban at Jankos, so maybe Viego is what Fnatic are looking at as a first pick.
Doesn't seem that way right now. So far in playoffs, Razork has played Viego, he has played Volibear, and he has played Diana. So you talked about Viego already being a highly contested pick, but with Zeri also removed, we have to look at these other priorities. Fnatic was not afraid to first pick both Twisted Fate and LeBlanc, both currently up and available. Is this something that Fnatic will continue to prioritize? Or perhaps will G2 actually choose to remove the LeBlanc that caused them so many problems the last time they met?
Sylas ban to me spells Twisted Fate as well, so they have 2 options here. If you first pick TF, you're giving over Viego. First pick Viego, you're giving over TF, but does G2 want to play it? Like you said, we haven't seen caps on it just yet, but that Sylas ban should spell a lot to what G2 saying. Donde está Koi? Where is Koi? Spanish fans there in the crowd.
So my question to you is, do you not just leave both open, and then if you can then just respond to whatever Fnatic pick? Because if they pick, I was going to say they could just leave both Twisted Fate and LeBlanc open, and then if they pick the TF, you can actually answer with a potential LeBlanc.
Now we need to see what Fnatic, oh, there it is, instant TF lock in for Fnatic. They went 0-3 on TF against Rogue. I think Humanoid was like
Sylas.
Yeah, and it was Sylas that kept being the answer, so we'll see what Caps picks up. I mean, Ryze to me would be the safe default. Something like Ahri as well could work pretty well, but now with Caitlyn Zeriban, looking at Aphelios Jinx here perhaps as well.
Certainly are. They could also grab themselves the Viego very early on if they wanted to. perhaps this is something that Fnatic expects. You know, coming into this game, we were talking a lot about potential Lee Sin as an option to pair up with the Twisted Fate. Fairly solid mid-jungle duo that does offer some pretty powerful control.
Yeah, there's the Lee Sin hover. Maybe, I mean, it would surprise me if Jankos were to pick it because he's 0-2 on it right now. I think Viego would be the best for him and then make Razork pay the Lee Sin, but there's the Jarvan Insta-lock for G2. I think that gives Razork a Lee Sin angle as well.
Jarvan obviously into the immobile carry that is Twisted Fate. Can have some decent setup. Let's see what the responses are going to be. Thresh still up and available, one of the common answers into that pick. A lot of mobile champions still on the board, but despite the Jarvan on the opposite side, still we see the Jinx lock and now paired alongside that Thresh.
Yeah, Jinx Thresh really good into the Jarvan, of course. You want to have a hyper carry that can match the Aphelios. Thresh can help with the lantern to get out of the Jarvan. Does G2 want to pick support here? I mean, something like Pyke or Nautilus or Blitzcrank, something with a hook would do so well, but it looks like for now, probably going to match mid.
Well, I was going to say one of the advantages that G2 would have in this position is if they just locked in the Nautilus and get themselves a pretty powerful 2 bot side. They, Caps has so much flexibility in that he hasn't really shown an answer into Twisted Fate yet, so it could be something that they save for the later draft, but instead they want to grab themselves the Ahri. So they've got a pretty mobile mid-jungle, that's for sure. Question is how much priority will, or sorry, how much pressure will Humanoid be able to generate on that Twisted Fate? Because when he did play it against Rogue, his impact on the map was not felt.
Yeah, did not happen at all. And we always know first few Twisted Fate ults, if they're successful, if you find ganks, that champion feels so fantastic to play, but if you fall behind, it feels so incredibly useless. See what G2 can get done in the early game. And similarly, what are Fnatic going to set themselves up with in the jungle? This champion's now going to start falling as the Viego has been banned away. Razork, we've talked about the Diana, but there's already a Twisted Fate. And right now, it feels like the pool relatively small, all things considered, when we look at viable champions we've seen so far in playoffs.
Yeah, we're looking at an AD jungle here for Razork. I mean, Lee Sin and Trundle are the last two that I'm thinking of, unless you want to get a bit crazy and go for, you know, Olaf and Skarner. Nocturne, we've seen a little bit in the LCK as well, but into the mobility that you're talking about of G2's comp, a little bit tricky. We'll see what their last ban here is, because with Rakan being pinched to Targamas, I'm just really curious what support pick they could go for, because game 1 in the best of 5, you can be really cocky, you can be confident, you can put your cards on the table and just show that you've got picks into this Thresh, for example. Blitzcrank would be an amazing pick here, I think.
It does make me laugh that with the Hecarim ban, the Sylas ban, and the Rakan ban, these Raw champions, they gave them so many issues when playing against Rogue, so they just said, you know what, we'll just remove them.
It wasn't our strategy that was wrong, it was the enemy picks that were wrong. Because the TF was perfect.
You know, when we look at Fnatic's draft, this is very similar to what they were drafting against Rogue. You know, we haven't seen anything too crazy yet. The biggest question will be, well, with the Jayce still up, the Aurelia ban does suggest that Fnatic is looking at that right.
Do you know another ban we've seen against G2 a lot of the time? Lucian. Lucian's still up as well, so we'll see what BrokenBlade opts into. Could be a top laner that they could pick into Jayce, because it seems to be banning against G2 every single time. Does give you that carry top potential. The only problem is you're against the TF.
Yeah, the advantage, though, of a Lucian in this position would be of its flexibility, but obviously you wouldn't have that because you're both your mid and AD carry locked in. So if they were to lock in the Lucian, then they would be in a bit of danger.
Huh. We have a mystery pick.
It's a Kinder surprise.
Okay, there it is. It's a Renata. You can see her in AR and behind it, but not on. We'll get that updated in a hot second.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got Diana, Jayce for Fnatic rounding out their comp. Same kind of AP damage in mid jungle will hurt them a bit, but 2 champions can play very easily for the Jayce.
I wonder if they will now do the Lucian. They could. Lucian's pretty good into the Jayce matchup at all.
Yeah, we've highlighted it now, and you can see it obviously if you're in-house here that is a Renata pick. But if you're at home, it is just a graphical error that is Renata locked in. Everything else is correct. Ornn has now been locked in as well.
BrokenBlade Ornn?
You should see Vedius' face. He was so surprised. 2 Ornns.
BrokenBlade Ornn. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Like, when we think about BrokenBlade throughout the entire regular season, it's been, this is a team that plays the top side of the map, carries all the time.
Career.
You know, like...
yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not like he could never play Ornn, right? But it's just, when we think about how G2 have been playing, this is just not the typical style. But especially when you compare how Flakked has been playing through their lower bracket run, he has been dominating. So it seems that they're putting a lot more trust in him, and BrokenBlade's just going to be that frontline utility for the team this time around. A very teamfight focused comp from G2, playing up against Fnatic, looking to attack the sides.
And this is the kind of development that we wanted to see with that run through the lower bracket, recognizing more that they can rely on Flakked, BrokenBlade willing to take a step back. It doesn't have to be the Lucians, it doesn't have to be the crazy counter picks on the top side. He can just play weak side. He can just play a solid matchup and allow his AD carry to rise to the occasion.
Definitely can, but Vedius said it. Jayce should be pushing sides. TF can match to help him push out top, and they want to collapse towards mid. But surprisingly, G2 with a full team fight composition, so we'll see they pull it off. Jarvan, of course, can bridge the early game. I think they want to play around bot in the early stages.
Yeah, I'm excited. We also have G2 getting mid-jungle agency, which is something that I think they really lacked in their last series against Fnatic. So we'll see how they match up against Razork and Humanoid. This is going to be an exciting one. We're going to be jumping into game 1 of Fnatic versus G2 for our semifinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. The hardest part about casting.
Oh,
wow.
There's a pause.
That's actually number 2 on the list. Number 1 on the list was not losing your mind in the first 30 seconds of a cast with a live studio audience. But if you've got your bingo card, check it off. We'll give you
Was
another
there one for a
freebie.
pulse?
Legacy Kings Dynasty. Medic's not here. He'd say something
Wait,
about
so
supports.
I had a question about that, seeing as we have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Does everyone get themselves a different bingo card? Because if everyone just printed off the same one, then everyone would just win at the same time.
Don't you choose?
Here's the problem.
Don't you choose them?
Our social media manager is probably in their 20s or 30s, so they probably never actually played a game of bingo in their life. We need someone at a little bit of a different age demographic to know the specifics of bingo cards.
22. Quack, quack.
You've played bingo before.
I love bingo.
The TSM chats, they're everywhere around the world, aren't they?
Of course they
That's
have.
wonderful. All right, I'm not going to lie either. You guys, there's going to be a lot of control wards dying. There's a lot of pressure to fulfill all the old memes, you know? You're going to have to be diligent in cheering for... I'm kidding, please don't. We can... One game, and then we just turn it off. You know, we get it out of our systems.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
So they have to get a lot of other systems.
Yeah. And of course, we'll keep you guys updated as to the reason of the pause as we get more information. In the meantime, we're kind of just waiting. So we're chilling. And we have a lot of things to talk about in the context of this series. We don't want to just like overload you with information. But I think the really cool, we'll call it narrative alert for those of you at home, story that has been emerging over the course of this playoffs is the evolution of Flakked. And it was an absolute pleasure to watch. Round 1, you know, he's getting caught out in team fights. It was a good G2, struggling in team
Humanoid
fights.
murdered him multiple times.
Yeah, Humanoid did murder him a lot. Round 2, he was a monster. You saw the stats on Analyst Desk. We'll probably talk about them again this game. And now the question is, going up against upset Hylissang, who until last week were considered, I think, undisputed #1, can he show that same level of performance that he did in round 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think the spring split, most of the regular season, he was kind of finding his form, what he really wants to do for the team. I mean, we even saw him play things like Seraphine, right? He really didn't know how his role kind of fitted in. But I think they've definitely trusted him to play a lot more carry-orientated. I think the meta suits him pretty well, where it's Jinx Aphelios trade-off no matter what, if Zeri's banned away, right? So you're just kind of automatically kind of defaulting to a, I will farm, get a couple items, and not really do much for my team, but then I'll carry in the later stages.
And I think that the loss that he experienced versus Fnatic was obviously very significant for him as an individual as well, identifying what it is that he could do better, and like I think that we've already seen the very rapid growth. The other big thing for me is it's just Fnatic versus G2 in an elimination situation, right? Like, often they're on other ends of the bracket and they're meeting in the final. And obviously last year, that was where the narrative really started to change with the decline of well, I would say both organizations in different ways.
Definitely.
But if the fact that it started with Fnatic knocking G2 out of Worlds contention last year. Oh, it's Roman building the energy.
I missed this. You guys know it's not a live event if Ramon has a shirt on.
And he's got all the player names on his back.
Yep, there it is.
Okay, so we do have a crowd.
Wow.
So let's just do some what's it, temperature checks. How many G2 fans are there in the crowd? Just give me a cheer.
Okay, not bad.
Okay. And how many Fnatic fans are there in the crowd? I think
that was like slightly, I think, less people, but very loud Fnatic fans. Well played. That was good.
So how many fans are there of just League of Legends in general?
Okay.
See, now what makes me laugh is that there's a lot of people that are like, no, not really. No,
Don't play it.
How many fans of Koi are there in the audience? Oh man, they're not even fans. They just got a sign. Sorry, Ibai.
So this is a great way to fill, you see, Caedrel.
You just leverage someone else for content.
Yeah, you
So it's
See, normally when it's a pause, it's just
when you
empty,
watch
right?
Gordon Ramsay,
it's
this
like,
is us.
This is your Gordon Ramsay. You're just watching Kitchen Nightmares.
Yes, exactly.
just don't ask them who the favorite caster is, because that's a dangerous game. Don't
Have you
play
done that
that
before?
game. I'm not
Someone said
listening,
Vedi.
crowd. No, don't play that game. It's a dangerous game.
Are you
Don't
trying
play
to
it.
subtly play the game so you can see if
No,
you
because
win?
Vedi and I have played that game and I've lost every time. So
Wait, between you and him?
me and Medic.
Okay.
I mean, he's such a loud, energetic
so
man.
handsome.
He is-
Oh, energetic and good at his job too. Yes, yes, yes. All those things, yes. True.
All right, let's bring it. Thank you to the fans. You're all amazing. Let's talk a little bit more about the game. Production, if you could, please, at some point, bring up the
Picks
Kevin's
and
stuff.
bans.
Please, if you can you please bring up the draft in some way, or can you show them, use the cameras at the back walls so that we can talk about the drafts a little bit while we fill during the pause.
I like how you're like Atlas trying to hold the world here. Like at any point you can say a question to Caedrel or me, and you're over here like,
because I have a setup point.
I will bring all of the content for everyone.
I will. It's fine. I'm a man of many talents. Let's focus on this G2
Singer,
draft.
actor, caster.
You keep interrupting me. Now focus.
Ex-pro player.
Okay, so I would love to hear what you have to say, but there's League of Legends to be played.
Finally.
So you could just like hold on to it. All right.
Pause successfully filled.
Energy back up. Let's go. It's popping. It's a semifinal. It's LEC. It's Fnatic G2. And then we bring it down just a little bit
I
more
was going to
time.
say, remember that thing you said about the start of the games with the crowd?
Oh, I love it. I love to hear it. I don't know if they're going to murder each other yet, but you guys have me hyped for it. All right.
Playing in front of a crowd is definitely different.
Yeah. Certainly is. A lot more pressure. Now, for most of these players, they're no strangers to this crowd. Obviously, for players like Flakked and Targamas, their first playoff, best of 5 in the LEC on stage. Of course, they've had the pleasure in the ERLs and EU Masters of playing these big games on stage, but we'll see. It's kind of always an intangible to talk about how player performance is going to be affected on the mental side, but we'll see as the series unfolds.
Yeah, definitely will. And just small thing to note there, Razork, sorry, just starting with a health potion, a ping, just warding his early jungle bot side. Maybe they thought some kind of late invade could happen, or maybe Jankos can do 3 camps and then gank mid from the bot side of the map, so that just covers Humanoid off a little bit, who was getting caught out a lot. Last time he played TF against Rogue, he was getting ganked a lot, he was dying a lot in the early stages, never really found his footing.
Certainly was. I'm going to look at this pathing right now. We see that both junglers starting on the top side, likely the Jankos pathing towards bot. You could do the red-blue Gromp if you wanted to try and do a very fast gank. Looks like for now he's doing Raptors, so it's pretty safe clear for the time being, as Caps and Humanoid trade a little bit in the mid lane, leveraging the REW to proc the Electrocute very early on, gives you a little bit more prio in lane. You can see both mid laners as well running the Corrupting Pot for that extra sustain.
I think the only difference we'll see here in the early game is Jankos can gank early, but I don't think Razork can do too much unless there's a lot of fighting in bot and a lot of trading. And they can look for setup 3v3 bot side. Jankos does red Raptors. He's going to go to Gromp here. Yes, he is going to get level 3 as quick as possible. Maybe he looks for an early gank, but lanes for now are pretty stable across the board.
Razork clearing out as expected. Bot lane, Upset and Hylissang holding on to control for now. Looming threat of a hook as the slow does connect. Flakked not able to sidestep that one. Early cleanse forced out. But Fnatic, if they get overconfident here, could get punished by Jankos, who is still playing towards the bottom side.
Yeah, it's better to just use the cleanse straight away because you don't want to get chunked out and then you have to be covered for dives non-stop. So much pressure in body, you have to find a base. It's better to just use that summoner, keep the lane stable. But now Jankos right behind Fnatic's bot lane. They haven't warded whatsoever.
They're playing back. I think they know something's coming, but it might be too little too late. Hylissang gets the play off, but he's still locked up. He's still pulled back. That's the handshake in the first blood. Flakked finds the kill.
Easy does it. Jankos just does 3 camps, runs bot from behind, gets a gank. Fnatic kind of disrespecting there. They saw their jungler pathing towards the bot side of the map, but they didn't even drop a ward with the push, so Jankos quickly to punish. A little bit of trading on the top side here.
Surprised that Hylissang chose not to flash there, utilizing the flay to try and interrupt and create space, but he decided in that moment that he was dead, and that is first blood given over towards G2.
Yeah, we talked about how Jankos can be a little bit more proactive in the early stages, whereas Razork just kind of wants the full clear. But Hylissang here doing a Hylissang thing, just runs top level 2. We'll see what he can get done. There's a ward around mid. If he loops around, he will get spotted. That'll help out G2's bot lane so much. Maybe he's just covering his mid laner here. Maybe he thinks Jankos is looking for another gank.
Waiting, hovering. Difficult, though. Is he going to finally move into mid, maybe get some of this XP, maybe use some of those stacks to help Humanoid push out the wave? Targamas running up, though, and Jankos in the area as well. Hylissang has to be careful. That is a level 2 Thresh. Squishy is definitely the name here, as the charm is going to be flashed away from.
Wow. That hurts. That really hurts, because the problem Fnatic's bot lane have now is the wave is bouncing out, because Upset's catching the wave on the tower, but in a minute's time, this wave will slow push into G2, and now your support has no flash, so I think Jankos can full clear base and go back towards the bot side, and Razork's going to have to find a way to cover it.
Early game already looking very good for G2. In the last series, it was Fnatic that was often finding themselves with these early game advantages. Obviously, we did see G2 in positions where they were able to find leads, but it was really Fnatic dominating, especially off the back of this block pink, and we're already seeing this evolution, this development from this G2 squad.
And holistically, of course, when we think of G2, they've had a pretty solid early game throughout. It's only in playoffs where we've seen some of those fumbles like against Fnatic, but obviously hugely dominant run through the lower bracket. Both these teams pretty darn active when it comes through in the early game. That said, we've seen it slow down a little bit in some of these games. Jankos and Razork haven't been as explosive against each other as Jankos was against someone like Zlatan, or as Razork has been in previous matchups.
Yeah, and that first Herald just contributing to first tower every single time, so both these teams will want to contest it in the early stages. Fnatic have the top push for now, but I think G2 on the bounce will get the bot push. They have a lot of kill pressure in mid soon as well, but Jankos finds Razork.
Razork, red buff, should win out in the 1v1, but Jankos can just flag and drag out to safety. Good cover to make sure Wunder can keep the pressure up.
Jankos hasn't based yet. It's 5 minutes in. He really needs to recall. He probably has a lot of gold right now, but he wants to get his Krugs. Razork doesn't want to let him do it, though. Humanoid will hit level 6 soon. Not too much mana to use the ultimate, but he's on his way up through the river. What Humanoid's doing here is he's just basing out of vision. As I said, that he cancels it. He wants to stop Caps getting his pink.
Forward, gold card, empowered auto as well. Good trade. Bone plating going to be used up, though. Caps can just walk away. Both mid laners still forced to stay in the lane for now, as we do see BrokenBlade's TP used back into the top lane. Level 6 just around the corner could make for some easy setup onto Wunder, if that's where G2 want to play.
Targamas with a good position here, covering for Caps. They know that Razork is in the top side of the map, so Targamas moving in through the mid lane to just make sure that his mid lane is okay. Caps also using this window to clear out that control ward as Targamas makes his way back towards bot. Jankos now finally getting his first base of the game. So far, nothing too explosive happened since we saw those early skirmishes. I think Caps did just miss that cannon.
-1.
Nice stun card there from Humanoid to deny him that extra bit of early game gold.
Oh, BrokenBlade on the roam. No vision on him. He has the Ornn as well, so Caps can follow up with the ultimate.
Humanoid has no mana. Might be an early flash, dashing in, trying to bait it out early, clean flash out. Ooh. Caps, he still have the charm. He's waiting. They're going to connect it. It's flawless layering of the CC. BrokenBlade grabs the kill.
It's game 1, and so far it's all G2. Jankos with the bot gank, and now BrokenBlade with the top push into mid, punishing Humanoid. Wasn't even that far up in the lane, but they just have so much gap close with the Ornn ult, with the flash, with the Ahri ultimate. That's 2 kills for G2 so far. 500 gold lead for now.
You can put him on a tank. Doesn't mean that he's not going to try and have impact on the map. This is BrokenBlade we're talking about. Really good utilization of just dropping a wave top, just roaming down towards mid, taking that unexpected timer to punish Humanoid. They get his flash, they get the kill, and again, just keep an eye on the minimap. Oh, he actually did successfully push that wave all the way in, so he had a good roam timer here. Humanoid doesn't respect the potential roam and lack of vision, and he ends up getting punished for it.
Yeah, good flash on the R2 there from the Ornn, but still, the follow-up with the flash from BrokenBlade is enough to get the kill. The problem Fnatic have is Hylissang lost his flash early. Now Humanoid's lost his flash. How can you get push in mid and bot when you have no flash against the Jarvan? You don't have any river vision in the game whatsoever right now, so contesting objectives is going to be very hard. The only real thing they have going for them is Wunder has top push, but he can't really do much with it for now.
And again, we're in a situation where the TF first pick is being punished. G2 with the tools ready to shut it down. The silence ban not enough for them to slow it down early game. Jankos obviously very high early impact jungler. BrokenBlade finding the roam, I think, a little slice of heaven for G2, who might have had to be worried normally, but now with that lead in the mid lane, things are going to get a lot easier when it comes to limiting the Twisted Fate.
I think that we're going to see both teams heavily prioritize securing this Herald. Fnatic would very much like it because it will enable their side lanes. If they can open up a tower already for Wunder and a side, it just gives you so much more control over the map. Maybe even investing in mids to give Humanoid a little bit more control, but regardless, you can already see the vision investment towards the top side of the river. The bot lane is currently pathing down towards bot, which means that watch Flakked here. He's already roaming up from the river towards the top side. I wonder if G2's going to start this one off.
I think it's a bit of an awkward state because Jankos wants to get level 6, so you can see he's doing his Krugs, and then the bot lane's moving up saying, guys, let's fight Herald, but Jankos is like, wait, I need to finish these Krugs, and then like, well, I'll just push another wave then. Now Jankos hits level 6, but Flakked's back bot. I think G2 have the setup to play for it, but for now, it looks just like they just want to find their way there. Level 6 on the Jarvan.
Now he's got it, yeah.
No flash on Humanoid makes it so hard for him to walk up.
Yep. BrokenBlade just trading out there. Looks like trying to get control of the wave. Wunder firing back, but will not connect on the shock blast. Razork can move in the contest. Diana level 6 very powerful, but instead it looks like they could just play for the gang. BrokenBlade tanky, but only has the armor. Magic Dame is going to hit like a truck. He's knocked back. Ulti coming out, but I don't even think he's going to get the second hit off. Does just in time. And that's going to be it. BrokenBlade's alive! Oh, absolute mad lad manages to make it out. At the end of the day, G2 make quick work of Fnatic in that exchange.
Oh, Jankos quick to react there. He was on the Herald, but instantly collapses top. Smart play by Razork because he knows Jankos is on the Herald. I'll gank top first, get the kill, move together as two and push away Jankos, but he was there in the blink of an eye. Flakked has both summoners here.
Hylissang pulling forward, looking for the setup. Flash comes out. Good sidestep going in, but the hook will connect. That's going to be the heal coming in from the Severum ultimate. He's just going to walk away.
Well played there by Flakked. Does have to commit both of his summoner spells, so overall the win for Fnatic in the bot lane exchange. They should be able to secure some plates off the back of this, but well, actually Targamas is making his way back down, but the bigger picture is that Jankos will secure the Herald for his team. Wunder likely just going to throw a bit of poke out here, but G2 getting advantages all across the board.
Yeah, Wunder staying in the area, knowing he can't just harass, hoping for a cheeky steal. TF ultimate not going to come out. And important to note, despite G2's early kill advantage, despite this Herald, the gold for now dead even. Yes, Herald guaranteeing at least 2 plates to come, but for now these teams are neck and neck.
The problem is, Fnatic didn't get anything on the cross map, so they want to force something. Here comes Humanoid.
Hylissang just getting thrown into that tower over and over again. You cannot do that, Green White. Do not fight. He's still standing. He's trying to get the face up. Maybe he can get it off. No, Razork going to find one back. Not all is lost, but Jankos is here. Flag and drag through. everywhere. Razork wants to be. Jankos has his number. Fnatic trying to get the best of this, but at the end of the day, G2 still coming out on top. Yes, Flakked goes down, but at what cost?
Oh, I think Fnatic was just frustrated there. They lost the top side play, they lost the Herald, and time was ticking. They lost the Herald for nothing, so let's just force something bot. They end up doing that, but G2 are so quick to respond once again, already coming out of base. Jankos, we go back here to the replay of Razork, trying to find BrokenBlade.
So this is just a great outplay here from BrokenBlade. He gets knocked out, still gets hit by the ultimate from Razork though. Gets the knock up into another auto, into the W. He gets a tiny heal. I'm not sure. Oh, it was the grasp, of course. Gets that tiny heal, which buys him just enough time for Jankos to get a clutch flag and drag in. But then we see the commitment from Fnatic.
I think it's just frustration, but hang on a second. Jankos is going to get the dragon healing.
Back. Jankos now going to fully commit to this one. There's no way out, but he already got the dragon. Might as well try to do some damage on the escape. Good cleanup kill from Fnatic, but it does come at the cost of a Drake.
Both neutral objectives in favor of G2, though. BrokenBlade going on to Wunder here, who has flash. BrokenBlade has ultimate up in a second.
Throwing it out. Is he going to look for the solo kill? Goes back. Wunder trying to get tricky. That's going to be the proc. Doesn't want to go for the auto. Wunder holding on for now, but it's getting hard here on the top side of the matchup. BrokenBlade playing with confidence.
Look at Caps. He's TPing on top tier 1. He knows he wants to dive Wunder here. He's completely abandoned mid, so he's behind BrokenBlade. If Wunder stays here, he's going to die. Caps has ulti, has flash. He's going to gap close onto Wunder easily.
Wunder trying to clear the wave as quick as he can. Now he finally sees Cap. 1, 2 on the dash. It's going out for the charm. Lands. He doesn't even need it. BrokenBlade grabbing the kill.
It's clean, it's easy, and it's creative from Caps. Investing the TP to help secure G2 another kill. While this won't blow the gold lead wide open, it will give them more control over the map. That's 2 plates down in the top side of the map. And look, very little is going to be lost. In fact, Caps is just going to walk into mid, and he's going to catch this wave.
Yeah, Humanoid down a level. Caps has flash, but really...
Hook does land. Hylissang throwing it back. Ignite goes down. No follow-up here. They're going to get the flash from Caps, but not a whole lot else.
So a lot of kills in favor of G2, but it hasn't translated to too much yet. I think the biggest problem that Fnatic have right now is their Jayce lane is 0-2, even in CS, and down 2 plates to an Ornn, which was just a 5th pick for a team fight. It wasn't for lane whatsoever, so G2 is sitting pretty comfortably in this early stage. We'll see how they use the Herald, though.
Certainly are. Across the boards, it's important to recognize, as you said, that the gold is still relatively close. You can see that there is a bit of a gold discrepancy down towards the bot lane, mainly because Flakked secured himself 2 kills, but mid, TF is actually still ahead, even though he's a level down. The Diana is ahead in terms of gold, and Wunder is a little bit behind. So Fnatic's laners is still in a very solid position, and there's still many windows for them to regain control of the map.
I have to say, I love what G2 are doing here. They just sent their bot lane top. They based, ran top after BrokenBlade got the initial kill, because the tower is at 3 plates, and that can all go to Flakked for first tower before the plates fall off. Wunder just has to sit here and watch his tower fall, be denied waves, and he's the Jayce. He wants to catch these waves. Let's look at bot if we could, observers, because BrokenBlade seems pretty comfortable here. Is Fnatic going to dive him? No, they can't. Even 3 versus 1. The Ornn is just too tanky right now, so he's clearing waves. Fnatic losing on both sides of the map right now.
Good setup there. He can get the guaranteed snare. Instantly the follow-up. Wunder's having a bad time here in this matchup. Humanoid goes in with the gold cord. Razork on the way in, but he has no follow-up. He can't connect on the Q. It means he can't follow up.
And a really good dive once again from G2. This gives Caps a window to be able to push into the mid lane as well. And G2 just have full control over the entire map. Great investment from the Rift Herald. They knew that the Jayce didn't have the flash as well. Jankos had his ultimate up. Flakked had the gravity gun, but now BrokenBlade could be in some danger.
Pull back, Ignite coming out. Early flash from BrokenBlade. Wants to stay healthy. Doesn't want to get too low and get executed here. As Caps is just going to walk away with a cheeky charm.
Biggest problem G2 had was the TF ultimate, but Humanoid had to use it defensively top to defend the play, which they got nothing from. So BrokenBlade still can catch waves bot lane, has TP as well, but it's all G2.
And this is flashbacks to earlier eras of G2 where you saw a relatively calm early game. Yes, they have a few more kills, but the gold stays dead even. We hit this mid game, they get that Herald down, they start knocking down towers left and right, and now suddenly went from dead even on gold despite the kills to a 2.5k gold lead in favor of G2 as they really start to take control. And the man really losing out in this case is Wunder. He is suffering. 0-3 on the top side of the map. Yes, ahead of BrokenBlade in CS, but that's a consolation prize at best.
And that's the issue. I mean, if the Jayce is even with Ornn, that's a bad situation, but still you can salvage it because you want to 2v1 the Ornn. You want to TF ultimate into the Jayce lane, kill the Ornn, and that's your pressure point. But the Ornn is just so tanky right now that, I mean, he's even dropping top CS here. What BrokenBlade can do is get this bot tower for his team, maybe get upsets Flash or Hillies, and then TP back top. So we'll see how long he stays down here for, because Dragon's 1 minute away. Just going to TP straight away, nothing to look for.
Looks like BrokenBlade just saw a window there where he could maybe try and force something with his ultimate. Instead, they decide not to overcommit, but G2 in a great position right now. A lot of the credit does need to go to BrokenBlade. Of course, Jankos with a lot of very good early ganks. He's been responding very well, but on an individual level, his roam towards mid lane is the way that he was able to outplay that 2v1 to buy enough time for Jankos to join the fray. BrokenBlade then setting up that dive as well, exchanging with Wunder, playing the matchup extremely well. Just goes to show that Ornn truly is the tank carry, does everything and everything.
Absolutely. And when we think of BrokenBlade, again, you highlighted earlier, we think of that number on the left, solo kills. We think of explosive, we think of counter pick. We don't think of Ornn, but despite that, BrokenBlade's Ornn showing up across the map, finding kills, finding plays, finding pressure, and that's credit to him that he has found this level of versatility that we may not have seen in seasons past.
I think that opens up flexibility for the rest of the team.
Oh,
Right? I
it
think
does.
Wunder is the best example of a flexible top laner. He can play carries, he can play tanks, he can play whatever you want, but we always look at BrokenBlade as he's going to play a carry, G2 are going to play topside. Much different story. G2's playing for his team, BrokenBlade's playing for his team, playing for mid, and Jankos was playing for bot in the early stages. But anyway, Dragon in 5 seconds, G2 have full setup. Fnatic just going to abandon that. Maybe they can look for something on the cross map. Herald's up, top tier 1's up. It just looks like Fnatic aren't being proactive whatsoever, and they're just at a numbers disadvantage again.
Jankos ready to go in. They got the ulti as well. Targamas ulti can come in once they get the setup. Hylissang is dead before the fight even starts. Upset trying to gale force out safety, but there's just too much CC. This man cannot play the game.
One of these map reads by Fnatic, surely they should look for some kind of cross map. Their bot lane's just sitting in bots while all of G2 is on the bot side of the map. They get collapsed on, they die. It's as simple as that. Wunder has to run away from mid waves. That's going to be a bot tower, that's going to be a dragon.
And Caps hits him with the emote as well. Hits him with the "this is fine" emote straight towards his former teammate. Caps knows the state of the map. He knows that G2 is clawing more and more. Forces the flash out from Wunder as well. He throws the emote up once more, and G2 will find themselves with 2 Drakes to 0.
I think it's a game state that Fnatic aren't really used to. They rely on their bot lane a lot when it comes to carrying the game, having the early push, playing for bot. We saw the early bot dive, but the second that level 3 gank happens, your support dies, they get the bot push, your support loses his flash in mid, he's down in XP. It's so hard for Fnatic to play the game.
We have to come back into the conversation about Razork and his jungle choices, right? Like, I don't think Razork has played especially bad this game, but what options do you have as a Diana? It's very difficult to stack a wave and then 3-man dive a top lane, especially against an Ornn.
Yep.
Like, when you look at a Jayce, Twisted Fate, top side, typically that's your approach, right? Either look for dives top or maybe even stack a wave and dive bot, but Fnatic just haven't been given any windows. We've seen no early aggression from them, and G2 have kind of dominated the entire early game.
And I think the big thing about Razork is that while we saw the Diana be incredibly successful in the regular season, so far in playoffs, it's been a bit one note, and that note is Volibear. And when that's taken away, we can see the limited impact from Razork. Now, yes, he's going to scale. Diana has the potential to do big things in the mid game, but early game, the impact is just not there.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. It's a long, long series. The weird thing that, I mean, we were talking about draft talk just before this game. Fnatic pick blue side, ban Volibear away from themselves, which they could have first picked pretty happily, and then they leave their jungler till 4-5, which I think an early game proactive jungler was helping them out so much in this game, and Razork looks really comfortable on it, but G2 pushing mid here. Looks like Fnatic are going to collapse on top of them. Targamas gets stunned up.
Targamas, easy target, follow up with the rocket. That should be 1 kill to get things kicked off. Does have a bit of a revive, though, the potential to turn it back. Fnatic hitting on members of Fnatic right now as Jankos will Flakked drag out to safety. Ulti's good from Flakked, but it's only going to connect onto Humanoid.
Caps has ult and flash.
1 charge left. How aggressive does he want to get? It's just going to dash back out to safety. So good pick from Fnatic, but in the meantime, Wunder going down.
These are the type of plays that Fnatic need to be looking for, though, trying to find picks somewhere on the map. Unfortunately for them, Wunder does end up going down. It ends up being a 1-for-1 overall, and G2 even secures a tower off the back of it. And look at BrokenBlade in the bot lane. He's uncontested, and he's likely going to be setting up this wave to secure another tower for G2. So while the proactivity and the idea is good for Fnatic, ultimately, it's only going to be more advantages for G2.
Yeah, all 3 altars collapse, and that just means that you can walk into the enemy jungle. Will give G2 a little bit more vision to work with, but this is how Fnatic's comp works. Numbers advantage is the key words that you need to play around, because the second they overstep on one lane, you have to collapse with numbers, whether it's a 4-man mid or if it's a 2-man on a top lane or on a side lane or a mid laner. But Caps is quick to respond on the opposite side of the map, picking off Wunder.
It's interesting how he actually doesn't TP to the mid fight, he TPs to the bot one. They catch Wunder in the rotation after pushing in the bot wave, and they punish him for it. Just really smart read there from Caps. That's the second teleport we've seen this game. Very creative usage off that Fnatic was not expecting, and he's able to secure his team another kill. Ends up making it a 1-for-1, and again, because they don't have that numbers on the map, because it ends up being a 4 versus 4, G2 end up securing even more towers.
Yeah, Cap's looking really comfortable right now, and I think the beauty of having like a champion like Ahri or Sylas or Akali, it's a very individual prowess champion where you can make things like solo plays. When you're playing Victor and Orianna, you just have to push, catch waves, and group with your team, whereas when you're playing Assassins and things like this, Caps can make decisions on his own,
And we've seen in the previous series how much Caps always got these counter picks. We knew it was going to be LeBlanc every game, every game, every game. He always had an answer up his sleeve, but a lot of them didn't really feel like they were working out. Now in this series, the fact that in game 1, they gave him the TF and G2 already have an answer for it is massive for the series heading forward.
Definitely. The series last time was, does G2 have an answer to LeBlanc? They tried 4 times, only 1 of them worked.
Oh my god,
but look at the siege coming on right now. G2 playing on 2 lanes. 2 towers fall. I think Wunder will get bot tier 2 in response, but G2 playing on 2 lanes right now. Fnatic, Wunder has TP if they want to fight this.
Card. They do not want to be going onto the Ornn. Him eating that hook is not a bad thing. Hylissang gonna go golden. Upset knocked off onto the backside. Caps already coming in. TP from Wunder, but it might be too little too late. He's getting a bit of a shield coming back from the Eclipse. They're trying to finish off the kill. Reset on the Caps will not matter. And that is gonna be the Renata ult. Hostile takeover. Flakked flashing under the tower. You like to see the confidence, but Upset still standing.
Wow, that was a massive exchange where only one member from Fnatic ended up dying. I think they played the fight pretty well. G2 not going to push the advantage anymore. They did secure the tier 2 in top and in mid. So off the back of that, they're just going to disengage. They know the Drake is spawning in 55 seconds. Reset on the map, restock that vision. Let's have a look back at that fight.
Yeah, I think Fnatic are just saying, guys, they're playing on 2 lanes. We're losing out way too much in this game right now. Let's try to find a fight, but it's Jankos who goes in. Hilly's stopwatch saves him for so long. Ornn ults, Jarvan ults, so many things invested. Caps comes along to the side, but Wunder zones him away. Problem is here is the second Razork dies, Upset can't walk forward, so he's forced to flash away. Gale Force, everything, you name it.
And he even crit there as well. I think he popped a health pot at the last second because Upset was very close to dying.
Red buff could have ticked him down. It's only going to get worse for Fnatic really because the Ornn items will come in to help the scaling for G2.
True. It's a very valid point.
Similarly, the amount of viable targets for Fnatic with this TF to jump onto is getting smaller and smaller. That's a Bloodthirster already on Flakked. His cleanse is going to take a little while to get up, yes, but that's a limited opportunity. Ahri has so many dashes to get away. Jankos and BrokenBlade are so tanky, and it's a locket for Targamas. So the options on the side lane to pick someone off just feel non-existent.
Drakos has 4 stopwatches on G2 as well, so the only real person that doesn't have a stopwatch right now is Caps. He has enough mobility to self-peel anyway, but G2 going to get their 3rd dragon, uncontested. AD carry soloing it up. You can see Fnatic pinging this top tier on Hylissang, saying to his team, guys, can we find something? They're on Drake, let's look for this top tower. The problem is they have no mid push. Look where Upset is. So he can't help his team whatsoever. They can't push for this top tier one. They're going to get collapsed on and die. And yeah, G2 just owning the map right now.
Oh, and they're using the Hex Gates to set up the flank.
They know they're here somewhere.
Not going to catch anyone though.
And here's the other big issue. Fnatic do not face check well. They have Twisted Fatal, they're going to get some blue trinkets, but they don't have that true frontline tanky champion. Thresh will die. Thresh will die before he gets to proc Aftershock if he walks into this G2 lineup. So getting vision back, getting control back around the Baron when you've already lost all those mid lane towers, when you're already behind in a lot of these individual matchups is just so hard for G2.
Yeah, my concern for Fnatic right now, and obviously it's only game 1 in a series, is that we're seeing the same. Sorry, I said G2. My concern for Fnatic is that we're seeing the same one that we saw against Rogue, right? Yeah. We're seeing an evolved G2 showing more diverse strategies, showing clean map play, and a really good mid game. Whereas Fnatic seem to be relying on the strategies that they demonstrated against Rogue that fell short. And in the draft, they banned away a lot of the champions that they struggled against. But right now, they haven't been able to leverage their side lane prowess. They haven't been able to successfully find picks. And right now, they have no control over the map.
Flakked, not great ults for shredding through the Baron, but excellent if Fnatic try to come in. Expect to see Humanoid's ult in the next few seconds. Ward over the wall, they now know it's going down. That's going to be it.
TF ultimate use, full vision of G2. How does Fnatic want to walk in here? Humanoid's going to pop it to the side. Upset has no flash, so it's so hard for him to walk up.
BrokenBlade, they're all walking into that pitch, but they've zoned him away. Humanoid forced to flash out to safety. Wunder coming right over the wall. They're going to try to finish off Jankos, but he goes golden. That's the stopwatch from earlier. Razork, it's big, but it's not big enough. Hostile takeover on the backside. Upset and Wunder beating the hell out of each other, while G2 just trying to finish the fight. They've been picked apart. Razork only getting Jankos in the end.
Jankos making a small mistake going back into the fight, because if he had lived, they would have smite, and then they could potentially go for the Baron, which means the Fnatic have done the job of delaying the Baron from going down, but they still lose 2 members, and they still lose another fight.
Yeah, not too bad for Fnatic. 2 for 1 is probably what you'll take at this point in the game. The problem they have is they lost so many flashes trying to contest this Baron that the second G2 do it again, you're against a Jarvan Ornn and you have no flash on Jayce. Diana, TF, Upsets is coming up soon. So the second that comes around again, it's going to be even more difficult. Wunder.
Hang on, Caps.
Waiting in the brush, looking for the lineup. Cross gonna lock him down, trying to find the charm, the cannon minion. Gonna get him some good damage. TP now coming in. Surely Wunder is dead. That TP is gonna feel like a bad decision in just a second here. Humanoid doesn't have the damage, but G2 do not want to overcommit. Hylissang in the area with the lantern to bail Humanoid out if he needs it.
Here comes round 2, I think, though, because Cap's going to push this top way. I think G2 can just start up the Baron once again. Now it's a 4v5. Wunder has TP in 30 seconds, but the Baron will die before then, so we'll see how Fnatic dissect this top side of the river.
Blind hook from Hylissang, hoping to find something. Caps waiting. A single charm could spell the end for any one of these Fnatic members.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Just going to give it.
I mean, Caps with the, again, just clever play from Caps, staying, not choosing to reset, just sitting in that bush, looking to punish Wunder, who's trying to push out the way.
Rocket.
Won't be able to secure that, but now Caps is on the hunt.
Dashing forward, Razork, big ulti from away. He tries to get out the blast cone. It's interrupted the lantern.
Now, sometimes when the lantern is over the wall, you can just about click it if the wall is thin enough, but I'm not sure if that was the case. there. Razork falls, Lantern wasn't good enough, Hilly wasn't in range, I believe, and G2 have so much long-range engage and follow-up.
5 towers, 3 dragons, a Baron, and G2 is looking to fight.
This looks like it might just be it. Humanoid making it out to safety, full control of the midway. Flakked the kill force forward. That's a mark on the Humanoid. Boom, baby! Aphelios damage. 2.5 items, more than enough to finish the job. And I think they might just...
They're going to push in. They have ultimate on Targamas, but they don't have ultimate on anyone else. They're just going to back off, play it safe. I think G2 have learned their lesson when it comes to throwing games. 1 minute, 20 seconds on their soul.
What an impressive game 1 from G2. There were a lot of questions on their lower bracket run. Was it just that the competition wasn't up to scratch? Was it just Misfits wasn't competing at the level? Well, it feels to me like G2 is playing very clean right now. And let's have a look back at this Baron.
Yeah, you can see Fnatic trying to contest. Humanoid a little bit out of position, gets singled out by Jankos. Ultimate to follow up, but the stopwatch buys a lot of time. Then Jankos stopwatches. There's a lot of stopwatches in this fight. Razork finds an angle, but he gets exhausted the second he goes in, I believe. And then the hostile takeover peels enough just so Jankos can get out of range. There's the exhaust stopwatch from Razork. And it was a pretty long fight in the end, 2 for 1.
Yeah, and that was the re-engage that I mentioned about Jankos. I think he could have just disengaged, but he wanted to try and get the knockup. He timed it poorly, and he ends up losing his life as a result.
Fnatic have to fight this. You can't give up the soul. They're so far behind right now. They have no control of the map, but maybe they can find an angle. BrokenBlade gets hooked.
Off to the side. TF ulti already coming out. Where's he going to go? Hylissang down before the fight. They're ignoring him. Looking to kill someone else. Caps locked up on the side. Could be big though. He doesn't have the Zhonya's to make it out, but there's the lock and it's clutch. The shock blast. Not
He's
enough.
dead.
Bye-bye, baby. No bailout for you.
4v4. Dragon is up in 10. We'll see if Fnatic can push these waves and collapse in. Wunder just got a lot of gold. Maybe he wants to base and TP in, but it looks like they're going to go through bot, no mid wave. But Razork has to catch it. He knows he's not going to catch it whatsoever. They have no TPs. He's just going to abandon mid whatsoever and just go straight towards this dragon.
Shock blast damage, not too bad. Human with a gold card at any moment. Razork.
He has to steal it.
Time for a hero steal. There's a bounty right there. Hostile takeover coming over the wall. It's going to stop him from doing anything. It's a clean ulti from the bot side of G2.
Upset just took so much damage. I couldn't even tell who was hitting him because literally everyone was. The Flakked ultimate doing so much damage on the backline as well. G2 secure themselves an uncontested Dragon Soul. And they have their eyes on the base of Fnatic. Mid has been opened and they're looking to secure the final tier 2 tower.
It feels like for the 4th game in the row, we're looking at Fnatic asking what is left. Back to the drawing board again. It did not work for 3 games against Rogue. It is not working in the 1st game against G2. What else do you have up your sleeve besides this Twisted Fate that can bring home a win?
I think we'll talk about this replay really quick here before we look forward. But Hylissang hits the hook onto BrokenBlade, and then Upset becomes the target for Caps. He goes so deep to try and chase him. And this is where Humanoid's ult was so clutch to get the stun card. Couldn't click the Lantern because of the Everfrost, and by the time he flashes away, the Shock Blast from Wunder finishes off the kill. Luckily, gets them a 1-for-1, but walking into this Dragon Pit was basically impossible when the Renata ult came out.
Yeah, it certainly was. I hope we can get a slow-mo of this because so much is going to come down. Big ultimate from Targamas.
And then Flakked's ult as well with the blue gun.
But look how Upset loses. Wait, but Razork hit him with his passive like twice as well.
Yeah, I think if Wunder didn't block that ult, he would have killed all of Fnatic almost. So now G2 playing on top waves.
All right. I have to call it out at least one time so the Renata fans aren't upset with me. That's 3 champions, a Diana, a Jayce, and a Jinx, who, if we go late enough, will one-shot each other in a Renata ult. I just have to call it out. It's probably not going to happen this time, but be aware of it, as the lockup on BrokenBlade is going to stop the follow-up on the ultimate. Wunder immediately going out to safety. Razork trying to turn it back. Razork trying to get something done. He goes golden in the midst of the team. Hostile takeover. Not going to connect on anybody. Razork just doesn't do enough damage. G2 are simply too powerful in the midst of the base with a soul backing them up. They're going to look to move in on game 1. The fountain might not even be safe for Fnatic here. G2 have well and truly leveled up since the last time these 2 teams faced an absolutely commanding game 1. And Fnatic will have to find their footing as we move forward in this series, where they could find themselves knocked out of playoffs.
Drakos, I don't think it's over yet. They're eyeing for a dive.
Oh, here we go. The flag, the drag, the death. And you know it's personal.
What a statement game from G2 already in this series. 29 minutes on the clock in that game 1. And we were talking about the drawing board for Fnatic, and we were kind of surprised that they chose blue side. I mean, all of their losses have been on blue side in the last 5-6 games. Red side been so strong for Rogue. Now for G2, the TF, is it working? Maybe the ban on Volibear, but questionable, could be a first pick for Fnatic as well.
Yeah, for me, it's very much about the jungle. You know, like, if you're going to try and attack these side lanes, if you're going to try and get things like Twisted Fate and Jayce ahead, you need to have a champion that can enable this in the early game, and a Diana is just not that.
It's such a slim win condition to have all your eggs in the kind of Jayce basket, right? When you're Fnatic playing bot side is what you want to do. You have a Jayce top, you have a TF that wants to play top side, they have an Ornn to shut it down, fights on side lanes aren't working out. The fact that Jankos can do 3 camps, run bot and get a kill on that gank shouldn't happen in a semifinals.
You say that, but Mauring did every. I feel like that's just the meta in playoffs right now. Is you have to be active.
Spam
it has
gank.
to be 3 camps, 2, 1 camp in game. Early activity feels like the name of the game here, and if you're gonna fall behind, sadly, picks like the Twisted Fate just do not feel as impactful. That's enough from us here on Game 1. Gonna head to a quick break. When we return, Game 2 in this thrilling series.
I'm gonna take a break. Cool.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.